welcome to the LA Sparks weekly post-game show, y'all. We just watched the LA Sparks unfortunately get defeated by the Connecticut Sun. I'm here with my co-host, Fredo. What do you think?
Yes, I was a little disappointed. I was like, man, I hope and wish they could have got this victory here
But
today.
this was a long shot. Let's
Yes,
just
it
be
was.
real. The Connecticut Sun have been playing exceptionally well over this season. They've already clinched their playoff spot, and we are scrapping desperately for ours. So I think we did a good job. I think that first half was like amazing.
No, it was. The first half was amazing. They were able to compete, and especially the first quarter, because Azure Stevens continues to just play very good basketball and consistent basketball, which has not been the case for most of the Sparks players this season. But, yeah, it's just a disappointing loss. But it's, of course, Coach always talks about a loss like this is always a good learning experience, and especially they might face them more than twice in the upcoming 2 weeks. So it might be pretty interesting for the matchup between the Sun and the Sparks.
And this loss doesn't even feel like a loss for me. I think Coach Miller is going to look at this film again and make the adjustments that are necessary to put us in an even better position to compete with them again. We knew that we were going to drop at least one of these games to Connecticut, and we'll hear from Coach Miller here shortly. We're just waiting on the press conference in the studio. Michael will be joining us as well in a little bit. But I'm excited to hear what he's also saying too. Ray Burrell was actually in the game, so Ray was in there. What do you think about the lineups? Just that we're going through the game.
I mean, I noticed late in the third quarter, I believe it was towards early in the middle, and I get it. I saw NECA, Gumike, the lineup there was around. It was NECA, and I believe Jordan was out of the lineup, and Azure is out of the lineup. When Jordan and Azure are both out of the lineup, that gives you your point guard and your kind of big man down there below, which you got to have that combination. It's always that combination of what works. And we've seen all year long, especially throughout this 6-game winning streak, that the combination of Jordan, NECA, Azure, and a little bit of Carly, because Carly has kind of slowly has been coming right back up where she left off before she got hurt. But yeah, it's just a combination, the lineups. You got to realize, what works and what doesn't. Maybe today he was trying to test something out, because a lot of coaches do this often where they use strategies and they use certain plays to kind of give them a different look of what they might put later on in a few weeks.
He's just testing it out.
Testing it out. So he might just try to give the Sun, like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do, but maybe in a week or two because they might face each other in the playoffs. They might just face each other in the playoffs. And those first 2 games will be in Connecticut. If the Sparks steal one of those, they'll come back here now later, possibly play one out here. But it is going to be an interesting ride, man. I can't wait for that to happen.
But let's talk about why Jordan Canada was out of the game. Jordan Canada was playing with 5 fouls. So it's tough when you're already the team that you're going against goes on a 10-0 run. Your point guard has 5 fouls, can't contend. So some of those fast breaks that were coming, JC was like, man, I can't even put a hand out because I'm in foul trouble. So I think what Connecticut did was they got JC in foul trouble in order to stop and slow down the offense.
Yeah, and there was a moment in the second quarter, I believe it was, Jordan Canada, there was a fast break, and she swiped the ball, and it looked like it was all ball. And they called a foul, and she even walked over to coach, and she was like, review that. She's like, I got 3, or she said something like, I got this many. I can't get another one. And they didn't challenge that.
That was a little flop, in my opinion, because she kind of grabbed her wrist like, I hurt my hand.
She was holding her wrist, and that was the thing. But when you look at the replay, it looked like it was all ball.
It was clean.
It was a clean swipe, and I wish, at that moment, I believe it was 30-30. It was a tight game, so there was kind of no need to challenge anything at that point, but that could have saved Jordan Canada a foul and maybe made her a little more aggressive and get her more time out on the court.
Yeah, and then she blew that layup, which she was just kind of a ball slip. So it was just kind of like, oh my God, we were here, and then we just kind of slowly started to slide, and the game started to get away from us. What did you think about our defense tonight, though? Because from what I saw that the Sparks were still giving that fight that they've given all season, right? We've never been in a position where we've just had an easy win, even with teams like Indiana. They've competed, We did have that 30-point win just recently against the Mercury. But other than that, we've had to really fight to be creative in different ways. But our defense has really stepped up. I mean, we forced 11 turnovers, I think, within the first half, and I think we had a couple after that. So the turnovers worked in our favor, but then they kind of worked against us at the end. So what are your thoughts on the defense?
I mean, the defense is good because, and I go back to Jordan Canada because how scrappy she is down there. I saw multiple times as well in the first half that she was going out there, she was going behind the pass, leaving her defender and trying to create some commotion out there in the defensive side of the ball. And she was doing that, getting a few steals out there, but The defense, I think at the end of the day, I see too many switches. I mean, a lot of coaches talk about like, okay, you want players to switch or you want them to stay on.
Yeah.
And I feel in the W, you kind of don't need to switch. You kind of just stay within your team because that's where it creates mismatches.
Yeah.
Then the smart coaches, smart players know where to go and attack the defense on that side of the ball. But here's head coach after the loss to the Connecticut Sun and returning back home.
First, before I talk about the game, just want to again thank this incredible franchise, fan base, ownership. Um, it has been an emotional visit back. So many fond memories, so many unbelievable moments in the 7 years that I was here, and uh, really truly thank the fans for the warm welcome back and all the messages through social media. I can't thank them enough. This was a period in my life that I'll never forget, and truly appreciate the people that I worked alongside of, for, and certainly players, which many of that core group are still here. So it's been very, very, very special to come back for the
first time since taking over LA. The game tonight, I don't think the final score indicates the type of game that it was for a long stretch. I thought it was two really talented teams defensively, navigating good defenses to, try to find offense. I thought, Connecticut ultimately through AT's facilitation and Dewana's play, did what they needed to do to get separation on us and secure the victory. Again, there were some momentum swings in that game, and while it was a low single-digit game, we missed a breakaway layup and a couple foul shots in a stretch where all of a sudden it extended to 9, and that really, kind of was indicative of our night and stopped any kind of momentum. We just couldn't find a consistency offensively enough to be successful against this really talented team.
You talk about momentum. How can you try to build on it, like the first quarter and 2 minutes going into the second quarter, moving forward and having that for longer stretches?
Yeah, I thought, I thought the game was really tight for a long time. Made some runs early in the third quarter and felt like we were doing some good things. But again, sustaining offensive success against a really talented defensive team is not easy. They played big tonight, and Nelson Adota, I thought, was a huge factor. I thought Olivia, gave them energy, but also moved DB to the 3. We're undersized at the 3. And so it was tough at times with all that size on the floor, even with Rebecca at times at the 2. So they can put a monster lineup on the floor, and that gave us a little bit of trouble. But again, I thought, for long stretches, we competed just offensively. We need to be better. Only had 4 turnovers at halftime and ended up with 16. So obviously the turnovers got away from us a little bit in the second half.
With all that being said, and the final score not being fully indicative, what positives can you take away from the game? What did you like out of your team tonight?
Yeah, I thought Azare was aggressive offensively looking for us. I thought Leja was aggressive looking for us offensively. I just, again, we got outplayed, simple as that. But the great news is that we were on a 6-game winning streak. Only 2 teams in the entire league have had longer winning streaks this season. And so, that tells you how hard it is to win that many games in a row. So now, again, we're in this stretch of 5 games in 9 days. Our next game will be our 4th game in 7 days. We've got to get to the airport and get home and play in a very important game against Chicago, which right now, looks on paper like the fight for the 8th seed. And we've got to travel through the night to get home and get ready for that game without any kind of practice time. So it's the stretches that are difficult in this league, and we're in that one. I thought, we looked a little bit fatigued tonight, playing an 8:00 game in Atlanta on Friday night and then a 1:00 game here, but we can't use that as an excuse. This is what this league is. Lots of times you play 3-5, 4-7, 5-9.
Let's go with Infanity TV on Zoom.
Hey, Coach, DJ Treese Infanity TV. Jordan Canada was playing with 5 fouls. Can you talk a little bit about how you had to adjust the game plan to accommodate play through JC with that many fouls?
Yeah, again, we had to be smart. She had to play smart. Again, players that have been in this league, have played with foul trouble. So we had to at times sit her down there late, but at times ask her to play smart and be cognizant of her 5 fouls to see if we could make one more run at them and see if we could, at least scare them late. We weren't able to do that. So we went to the bench knowing we're in this stretch intentionally as the game we couldn't creep it closer, intentionally didn't play NECA in the fourth quarter tonight to try to save her a little bit for our next game. Again, no one over, every single person on our team under 32 minutes tonight. So, important at some point you have to, try to manage the game and how important our next game is going to be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be right back with you
Good
later.
to see you.
Good to see you.
Whew. So Coach Miller was just talking about one thing that I wanted to bring up, and that's fatigue. I mean, we're on a long stretch. The Sparks were already on a 5-game winning streak that took a lot of momentum to even get there. So now we're at a stretch where we're playing the number 3 team in the WNBA who just clinched their playoff spot. Alyssa Thomas is putting up double-double after double-double. DeWanna Bonner is playing. You've got all this defensive pressure. So, I mean, fatigue, you just run out of gas at some point. And then once your point guard gets in foul trouble, how many more options do you have left?
You really don't have any options at that point. But, I mean, it was the same thing that I mentioned earlier about how Nneka Ogwumike late in the third quarter, she just looked tired. She looked busted down, and even Coach noticed that. And he's like, I'm gonna keep her out for the whole fourth quarter.
For sure.
I'm gonna save her because they actually, like he mentioned, they're gonna be playing their 4th game in 7 nights.
Yep.
And especially doing that on the road, having to travel and then have to come back to LA, that is gonna take a lot on the players right there. But it is very interesting to see that now that we're like 4 games left in the season. Now, he's like, this Chicago matchup on Tuesday night.
Matters.
It matters a lot. This
matters.
is for the 8th spot in the playoffs. And, it's going to be very important. So it's going to be a very exciting game. We're going to be there to bring you guys all that coverage.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see that one because Chicago has been on a downslide here, so we can really take advantage of where they are in their transition and lock that game in. We'll be hearing from the players here shortly. Let's go to a quick commercial break. Really quick, pay some bills, y'all. Keep it locked here on the LA Sparks Weekly postgame show.
Cha-ching!
What's up, y'all? This is Lexi Brown with the LA Sparks, and you're watching Infanity TV.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by...
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Chanel Gwimike, and you're watching Infanity Television. Boom.
Hello. We
Whoa.
are here. Sparks Weekly. Tough defeat that they just suffered to the Connecticut Sun. It was a game, that we talked during the break that we kind of expected. But let's see what the players think. We have Azare Stevens, who is here for us right now. Let's see what she has to say.
Azare scored her 700th career rebound today, and she also played in her 150th game. Let's go with you.
Just with that in mind, what does it mean to start kind of racking up those numbers in the WNBA? We've been in it for a few years.
Yeah, it's exciting. I didn't even realize, but just grateful, I love playing in this league, and I love hooping. So to be able to just do what I can do and to help my team and get some accomplishments on the way is always cool.
Obviously not the result that the team wanted, but what positives can you take away from today's game, especially playing this team again?
Yeah, I think a lot of mistakes happen that we can control. They played good defense, but we just missed a lot around the rim and had some troubles with the traps and stuff like that. So those are all things we can work on in practice and come out and execute better next time we see them.
And, in 2 weeks, it'll be the last day of the regular season. What are you looking to improve on either individually or as a team before the end of the season comes? What are you making?
Yeah, I think just continually getting better and growing. I think continuing to gel with each other. It's a new group still. Like we're learning each other as players and even with the coaching staff. And I think we have a lot of good energy and good positivity. But we have to continue to focus on that throughout, from the staff all the way down to the players.
Let's go with Infanity TV on Zoom.
Hey, what's up, Azare? Michael Matthew here. Man, just the tough 10 a.m. start. Do you think that had any effect on you guys with this early start time?
Maybe, but I think we all approached the game the same way. We all came in, did what we had to do. We still prepared for sure, did film, did all that stuff. Just wasn't our night. We just had some runs that they had and that we couldn't really withstand, and then we didn't really punch back like we usually do. So
and then
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
And then my second question, Alyssa Thomas, she's been having a great season, so many triple doubles and things like that. What makes her such a tough matchup, especially there on the boards, because you guys, lost the rebound battle by 12. What makes her so tough all around, especially like rebounding?
Yeah, AT is a great player. Been playing against her since I got in the league, and she just affects the game in so many ways. I think people talk about her she's undersized, but she doesn't ever let that define her, and that's really awesome to play against. And it's always a good battle with her. She's so tough, and like I said, she just impacts the game in so many different ways. She doesn't let her height become an excuse, and she just can take over a game. So shout out to her. She played great tonight, and yeah.
Thank you.
And Malaysia is here. And tonight scored their 2,000th career point at 4:28 of the second quarter. Let's go start in the room here.
Why didn't you tell me? I would have went for
Just starting with that, 2,000 career points in the WNBA isn't easy. What does it mean to you to have accomplished that feat?
That's pretty cool. I like the 700 rebounds. That's cool too. Some of it, like Sue Bird always says, just means you're getting old because you've been playing for a while. But even that's a privilege to play. My 10th season in the league is really cool, and it's not anything I take for granted.
Going off that, you play with so much emotion and joy on your face. What's been your favorite part of the season so far?
My favorite part? It was definitely the 6-game winning streak before this, because winning's fun. You get on a roll. Momentum is just it's really contagious. But it's been playing with this group, playing fun, playing free. I think hitting threes has been really fun part of this season for me.
With 2 more weeks left in the regular season. What are you hoping to improve on, either as an individual or as a team? Whether your season continues past that or not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, making the playoffs first and foremost, we're definitely still in the hunt. We have a big Chicago game coming up next at home, so making the playoffs, and then anything can happen from there.
And obviously not the result we wanted, but what are some of the positives you can take away from this game?
That we were with them, I think that final score is the game got away from us kind of pretty quickly, but there towards the fourth quarter. But just seeing the things that we did well. Some of the mistakes we made in rotations and not getting, we would get them to miss the first shot, but then we wouldn't get the rebound, things like that kind of hurt us. So that's the number 3 team in the league, and they're really good. And so anytime you can play against someone of that caliber, you learn a lot of lessons and you learn where you want to be. And so we're taking a lot of stuff from this game.
So do you think you'll be able to apply that as a team when you come back here? And I think it's 9 days.
Yeah, it's pretty soon. God, think about it. Cross country. Yeah, definitely. We'll watch the film. We'll make some adjustments. And then we'll be ready to battle again. Mohegan's a tough place to play. They have a great crowd. They're really good at home. So I played on this team. I know how well it is, how fun it is to play in this arena at home, and how much momentum the crowd helps. So it's always like a playoff atmosphere.
Let's go with Infanity TV on Zoom.
Hey, Laisha, this is Fredo Cervantes here with Infanity TV. I just want to talk to you a little bit about, the toughness of these games over the last few. You guys have been able to come up on the winning side, but of course the traveling part has been a little difficult. You're having games every other day, whether you're traveling on the road or whether they're at home. Now you're going to be coming home in about 48 hours or so, taking on the Chicago Sky. One of the most important games throughout this season, late in the season. What are going to be some of the challenges you guys are going to be facing with all the, traveling up and down and trying to play one of the most important games this season?
You broke up a little bit. What are the challenges we're facing?
Yeah. Going with all the traveling and now, one of the toughest games all year long.
Commercial flights. That's what we're battling, commercial flights. That's one of the biggest challenges. Right, because we're flying tonight out of Boston and at 9 p.m., which is amazing. The fact that we're even going to get out of Connecticut same day, because that rarely happens when you come all the way here. But flying commercial, we were back here in 9 days. That kind of stuff that just wears on you is one of the biggest challenges as a player in this league. That again, we can't preach it enough. That we hope changes in the future. Other than that, it's just everyone's tired at this point. There's really, you could definitely use it as an excuse or a factor. We see we played an 8 p.m. game, then a 1 p.m. game. And so it's something that taxes your body. But at this point in the season, everybody's beat up, banged up, has a player out. And so it's just how mentally tough can you be down the stretch when you get fatigued? Can you be the smarter team? Can you be the more poised team? Can you be the team that stays together when things get tough and other teams go on runs? And I think we've been really building that as the Sparks down this streak. And then today, it didn't go our way, but we didn't fall apart. Our culture didn't change or shift. And I think those are the big moments where when things get tough, how do you respond? How are you still a good teammate? And our locker room's still really strong.
Thank you, Laisha.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Very much.
Yep, we're back. So we just heard from Azure. We just heard from Laisha. They talked about, just the battles of it. Winning 6 straight games.
Yeah.
And then the way that they had to travel for, this road trip, it was going to be some difficulty. So to see them pull out some of the games they did, especially the last game was like, okay, that's a great win. So we kind of came in thinking this is going to be a tough matchup. Yep. Alyssa Thomas is having one of the better seasons of all times with the triple doubles and things she's
doing.
Joanna
Bonner as well just moved up in total points scored in the league. She's top 10 already. So, you got 2 players who are advancing and getting those same kinds of things. It was a stretch, y'all.
Yep.
It was a stretch, but I love how Laisha got on here and said, we all tired. Everybody tired. You could use that as an excuse or you could just win some games. And I think that mentality is what is keeping the Sparks together and what's going to push us farther.
And a key thing for today's game was the way that they lost the battle on the rebounds. They lost by 12. I got to give a shout out to a former Spark, Nelson, we call her Ono, Olivia Nelson Adota, who was with the Sparks last year. She had a career high 11 points, career high 11 rebounds.
We talk about that all the time, career highs.
So it was big for them today picking up this victory. And I think that kind of slowed down the Sparks. If you notice, the last few games, the Sparks has been able to win or at least keep the rebounding battle close so that they can push the ball and get some tempo. Today, from the jump, it was like the tempo wasn't there.
Yep.
Jordan got into foul trouble.
The traps weren't working.
Yep.
We was getting turnover. The turnovers were working in our favor in the first half, and in the second half, killed us.
They just look gassed.
They look.
I'm always usually on their heads about these losses, but I'm going to give them a pass today because they just look gassed. They look like a team, man. We won 6 straight. Now we got to wake up early as hell.
Yeah.
10 o'clock our time.
On a Sunday. This like going out partying all night after the club, and now you like, man, I'm about to hoop.
Man, they were in Atlanta on Friday, and then having to get up to Connecticut. That's a tough one. Right
that's already tough.
And it's like, who we got to play? Alyssa Thomas, DeWanna Bonner?
After playing Ryan Howard? Like, oh my God. Yeah, so I totally agree, and I think the Sparks deserve a pass. And hopefully we can still make the playoffs and be in good position.
Oh, we should. It looks, because that matchup, like you said, you asked Lasia about the matchup against the Chicago Sky is going to be huge because it's a win. If they pick it up, they kind of almost bury
lock in.
Chicago so deep, who's been struggling here lately.
But let me tell you who you got to watch, though. Let's just transition into the next Chicago game.
Okay.
Dana. You gotta watch Dana. Mm-hmm. She is a silent. She from the 219. We from the same Northwest Indiana. Y'all, I'm about to tell y'all. She sometimes go 9 points, but she'll explode for 25. You don't know. She got a little attitude on her too. She fast.
Career night for her on Tuesday.
I think she got something to prove. She's trying to move up in the ranks of the team. So she's been playing exceptionally well. Mabry is another one. They got Courtney on the team as well. You know, a point guard that's fast who can score. So I think Chicago is down right now, and they got a little bit more to prove. They might come with a little chip on their shoulder and try to flex a little bit. So I think, like Kurt said, he called it out. We have to play this important game and outmatch them in that way because they got more to lose than us at this point.
Yeah, and so far this season, they're 1-2. Chicago has won 2 of the 3 games, winning the last 2 games. But it's a way different Sparks team, I feel.
And different coach in Chicago. Chicago don't got the same coach.
Yeah, so it's just a different energy with LA right now. Even with this loss, you know that they're going to regroup. They're going to know how big this game was. This is just a down game. Jordan had a down game. NECA had a down game after going for 29 and 12.
She didn't play the fourth quarter at all.
No, I would have sat too.
So it's just one of those games. You see it all the times. You know, we look at the greatest teams of all times, the Las Vegas Aces. They had a game.
They had a couple.
Yeah, where they let them go. So it's just one of those games. But the Chicago one is going to be big time. Do we have a player of the game today for teams at all?
Well, I've looked at the numbers. You know, of course, we pick with the Sparks. We look at it, and the consistency play has been there all for the past 6-7 games on Azure. You know, Azure has been, remarkable. I think she's finished the night with 15, 7 and 5. Was
17, 4 assists, 5 rebounds.
Yeah. So she's just, she's doing it every single day she's out there. And I was surprised she was out there with like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
She
was still out there. But I think her consistent play has been really special for the Sparks lately.
I'm going to do a most improved player of the game because I agree with you with Azure for those same reasons. My most improved of the game would have to be De'Erica Hamby. And the reason that I say that is because tonight she was using her footwork. She was playing defensively. She was playing smart. She was attacking. She did drop 2 free throws that I'm like, all right, come on, be for real with those. But really, I think De'Erica is stepping up and stepping in tonight specifically. She did a really good job of that under and over and really using her body and her physicality.
She's playing her role, doing her part, and she's going to be needed down the stretch. But I'm going to go with Lasia Clarendon.
You got
13.6 assists. She has been the difference maker since her return. She's playing some really good basketball. She gives them 2 point guards on the floor most of the times when it's her and Jordan. And when Jordan had a down game, she kind of carried it. But it was just a tough one all around for the Los Angeles Sparks as they, take this defeat 83-68. Big one Tuesday night versus Chicago. If they win that,
when they win that, because we drop it. We drop it Chicago.
Okay.
We are already calling that
48
Chicago
hours prior.
Yeah, guaranteed. We got it here. DJ Treasy Trees told you that. But it's gonna be a big time game. I can't wait to see how Coach Miller has these ladies ready to go. Looking at the standings, they're like a game. Even with this loss, they're like a game and a half, 2 games back
behind
from
us.
getting to number 5.
Yeah.
You know, where they can match up, you know, with the Dallas Wings.
That's why the team, like tonight, Dallas plays tonight, Chicago plays tonight,
Yeah.
Seattle plays tonight. There's still a
Atlanta
lot
plays
more,
tonight too.
There's still a
Atlanta
lot more
gonna
basketball.
win.
Who Atlanta got?
Who they playing? Let's look at the app real quick. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like you want to see these other teams take some L's when you take a L, but you got to take care of your business, and that's exactly what the Sparks are looking to do, especially here Tuesday night. But they're going to get 3 straight home games.
Yep.
So no more getting on those commercial flights, like Leisure said. They're going to be at home.
Yep.
Get some home cooking, sleep in their bed.
Practice.
Maybe get a practice in if they can, but it is their final 3 home games of the regular season. So, you know, we're hopeful that they can go 3-0.
That's what I was about to say. 3-game winning streak.
Yeah,
And here we go. Atlanta got Indiana, so Atlanta gonna drop them. Dallas got the Mercury. They gonna drop the Mercury.
Yeah.
Chicago got Seattle. That could be a toss up, but I'm definitely thinking Chicago
those
gonna drop
two teams
Seattle.
Jewel Lloyd.
Jewel
might go
Lloyd can
crazy.
do 45, right?
Yeah.
You know,
But
what I mean?
those are
Golden
the 2
Mamba.
teams that we're facing this week. We got Chicago Tuesday and Seattle Thursday.
So
interesting.
Two teams that, you know, they should be favored against.
Yep.
The Chicago matchup back at the Galen Center?
No, Crypto.
Crypto. Yeah, we'll be at Crypto. Yep.
Crypto.com Arena.
The Washington Mystic one, I believe, is on Sunday. That one's at the Galen.
Oh, that's at the Galen. Okay.
So this Tuesday, Thursday at Crypto. And as well, little time update. This Tuesday's game starts at 7:30 tip instead of a normal 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Yeah.
So this
I'm
Tuesday.
happy to be back.
Yeah,
Crypto.
man.
Right?
Yeah.
Me too.
That's our home court.
That Galen Center was nice. It was
fire.
good.
Yeah,
it was a great
They
environment.
got popcorn machine too.
Keep that to USA. Because we get that home cooking at Crypto.com Arena.
That's
But
right.
it's going to be big for the ladies. I know that you guys are excited out there for the rest of this run to see if the Sparks can make a push to the playoffs after struggling so mightily this beginning of the season with illnesses and injuries. So, hey, we're going to be back with you.
Yep.
Me, myself, Michael Matthew, Fredo Cervantes, DJ Treese Treese.
Yeah.
We will be back with you Tuesday when the Sparks face the Chicago Sky. We catch you then.